Good morning and welcome to The Weather Now. Time now 11:15. Thanks for hanging tight with us. I know there's definitely a need and a thirst for all that weather information out there. Happy to help you out here in any way that I can, giving you the latest forecast, answer any questions that you may have about the hazardous to locally severe weather we're expecting here across the coastal empire and the low country, the entire WTOC viewing area going into tonight and into tomorrow. You know, as this event has drawn nearer, now within 12 hours of weather really starting to go downhill, definitely the forecast has come into focus, and we can fine-tune the threats and let you know exactly what is going on, what you can expect at home, whether you're watching on Hilton Head Island, Bluffton area, down to City of Savannah, Brunswick, or up to Swainsboro, Vidalia, Statesboro, because not everyone is going to see and feel the same impacts from Major Hurricane Michael, and that's typically the case with these systems as they move on through. So I'm going to let you know, maybe some first-time viewers here, we are streaming on Facebook, also on Twitter, Roku, Amazon Fire, those platforms, Roku, Amazon Fire, maybe the news app, the weather app. You cannot, ask me questions, or at least I can't respond to you in any sort of way. But if you're watching there, feel free to navigate over to the WTOC TV Facebook page, looks like that, and ask your questions. Also, WTOC11, that's the handle at WTOC11 on Twitter. So we already have a lot of questions coming in. Going to get to those in just a moment. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask for your patience. I know we have a lot of questions out there. I want to let you know what's happening right now, then I will jump into the questions. We have Major Hurricane Michael moving to the northeast now, more of a definite northeastward turn, again within a couple hours of landfall there, probably east of Panama City and Panama City Beach, near Apalachicola, the Big Bend there, maybe just west of that spot. Now, what's decent about this area, there's obviously some population here, and I certainly feel for those folks, but national forest in that area, so it's not as populated as, say, Panama City Beach, Destin, Fort Walton, so there is some saving grace there if it moves a little bit more east, but these are just wobbles. There is no significant change to the forecast, not a far east enough jog to really change things, just something that we're noticing on satellite. Notice where all of the rain and all of this storm activity is with this. It's on the north and on the northeast side. Think back to right front quadrant, nastiest weather. That's going to be heading into the state of Georgia. Already seeing conditions go downhill. Albany, down to Thomasville, the extreme southwest portion of the state, into southern and southeastern portions of Montgomery. Already going downhill there. First span about to cross I-75, and this nastier weather will spread deeper into Georgia, eventually the coastal empire and the low country as we go into the overnight time period. Sustained winds, 145 miles per hour. Need to update that, actually moving to the northeast at 14, so it already has begun to accelerate as well. Again, it's moving a little bit faster and definitely has begun to take on that eastward turn, as was expected. Again, the track has not really changed here. Forecast, though, to still be a Category 2 hurricane in southwest Georgia by this evening. A tropical storm, 45-mile-per-hour sustained winds in the Midlands to the upstate of South Carolina as we get into Thursday. So zooming down in, again, Thursday morning, right in the Savannah River area, and quickly moving away from the coastal empire and the low country. All right, we have a ton of questions coming in. I apologize for keeping you all on hold. Thank you for hanging there with me. Nicole wants to know, is Pooler going to be impacted? Hilton Head, Jill Knight works at Kroger, and we have been busy. People are preparing. Always good to prepare, and certainly glad people are taking it seriously, even if they don't necessarily use all of those supplies. Again, always better safe than sorry. Jason just saw a lady fly past on a broom. Think it's a neighbor late to work. Very well could be. Glad you're having fun there. John, hello to you. McIntosh County. Babby wants to know. Mary in Blackshear. Janet on Wilmington Island. Kathy in Buford. Melanie wants to know how Ellabelle looks. Black Creek. Hello to you folks. Northern Bryan County. Susie, parts of Alabama is already being impacted. The southern southeastern part of the state. And yes, they will be impacted, the state of Alabama. Waycross area expectations. All right. Now I'm going to break down, and this is kind of simplified. I wouldn't say general. generalize. Again, this is pretty specific information what I'm going to show you, but it's basically the latest and the greatest. I'm scrolling through my weather computer. Bear with me. That's kind of why I'm looking away from the computer here. Now we're going to talk about the impacts we can expect across the area. And here we go. Tracking Michael, what you need to know as far as impacts. Sustained winds, likely 25 to 35, kind of in that 20 to 40 mile per hour range. We're trying to narrow it as much as possible for you, but we may see winds on the high end, maybe sustained up to about 40, gusts 40 to 60, and if you live inland or if you're out over the water, you know, no one should be, but in those open areas, or if you're closer to the center's track, again, well inland away from the city of Savannah, you may get a little closer to a 65 or 70 mile per hour rogue gust, but still tropical storm force winds. That's what we've been telling people to prepare for, and that is still what is forecast. Isolated severe weather. There is a low tornado risk. We're talking a few rotating storms through the area this evening, tonight, into tomorrow morning. Certainly could produce a couple tornadoes. We're watching for that potential here, the WTOC weather team. And damaging wind gusts. The gusts we're talking about right here could certainly cause tree and power line damage. As far as rainfall, the pattern here, wettest northwest, Emanuel County, Bullitt County, Screven County, Hampton County, Montgomery County, maybe Coffee Jeff Davis County is going to be the wettest stretch of area. Driest area, further south and east, Glenn and McIntosh counties, you all may not get all that much rain. You're also going to see less wind. So that's the trend. Stormier, wetter north and west, a little bit less stormy, a little bit less windy, and generally drier south and east. Now, that's the general look. We're going to go through some model data here, and I think these models have the right idea, and we're going to talk about some of this data right here. All right. Here we are at midnight tonight. Again, that is about 12 hours and let's say 38 minutes from now. We're going to be experiencing 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts at Vidalia, Glenville, Baxley, Hazelhurst, Alma, and Waycross. 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts along and west of I-95, and 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts right there on the water, maybe 30 to 35 there along the islands. That's at midnight tonight. So late evening activities, you know, after dinner time, it's going to be getting breezy and then windy, enough to cause power outages here inland by 11 p.m. to midnight tonight. Going forward in time, notice Swainsboro, 57 mile per hour gusts. These are where the strongest gusts will be. Swainsboro, Vidalia, Hazelhurst, including Mount Vernon, Montgomery County, Metter and Millen, Sylvania, you as well. Trutland County, Wheeler County out here on into central Georgia, portions of middle Georgia. This is where the gustiest winds will be, closest to that 60 to 65 mile per hour range for peak wind gusts. That is at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. Bringing you out just a little bit further into the future. Notice the city of Savannah, we're 35 to 45 gusts, but can't rule out a gust up around 50 miles per hour or so. I think that's likely in Statesboro, likely in Sylvania, likely in Hampton. 45 to 55 mile per hour gusts, if not, up towards 60 or so. Swainsboro by 5 a.m. Again, these are the likely gusts. You can occasionally, this all depends on your location, the amount of trees around your home, exactly what the geography is like in your area. But you can see a rogue gust greater than this, but this is a pretty good idea. Those 40 to 60 mile per hour gusts, the 40 more likely closer to the I-95 corridor and south of the Altamaha, and the 60 more likely across Emanuel County, Bullitt County, and areas like that. So this is certainly enough to knock down some trees, cause some power outages, scattered tree damage that we tend to get with these wind events. That's certainly going to be the case tonight into tomorrow morning. 5 a.m. it's still going to be really windy and enough to cause issues with trees and power lines. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. By that point, the sun's coming up. It's beginning to improve. Waycross, Nahunta, Brunswick, Shellman Bluff, Darien. Again, this area is going to be the least impacted here, especially Camden, Glen, McIntosh counties. Still seeing some really gusty winds, especially Hampton County, Sylvania, over into the Metter Millen area, Swainsboro. It's still north of I-16, gusting 45 to 55 at 7 a.m. tomorrow or so. Here comes the real improvement. At 10 a.m., gusting only 25, Hazelhurst, Alma, Waycross, Nahunta, Jessup, Brunswick, Shellman Bluff, over to Little Wissey, perhaps Montgomery County, Vidalia, Glenville. You all are seeing improving conditions along the Altamaha River and south by late morning tomorrow to about lunchtime tomorrow. It's still blowing pretty good. Sylvania, Hampton, Springfield, Beaufort, Low Country counties. but beginning to see some improvement for sure by 10 a.m. to noon tomorrow. And after that time frame, we're going to continue to see conditions improve. Noon, 25 to 35, maybe some 40-mile-per-hour gusts still here in the low country noon tomorrow. You all are going to be the last to really clear out and calm down. Meanwhile, areas way across the Hunter Brunswick, it's really beginning to calm down. Still breezy, but generally not as windy as it was. And into late tomorrow afternoon and evening, the sunshine's probably going to come back out, and drier air is going to filter in, and some generally cooler air is going to filter in. So you're going to wake up Friday morning, and this is the good news, especially if you are someone that loses power tonight or tomorrow, to much cooler, drier air, the kind of air you can open up the windows and really enjoy it. Meline Calvo wants to know about South Guyton. Jared says, just tuning in, how's Statesboro looking? Sandra wants to know about Richmond Hill. Melissa says it's sunny now in Rincon. Let's see, Long County's holding off. People asking about school delays. And Melissa says, charge your devices. That is absolutely the device of the day, or the advice of the day. Getting the word device and advice mixed up there. But your devices certainly do need to be charged, especially with the possibility of severe weather, these isolated tornadoes tonight. You need to make sure you are warned of those. No weather radios, you can plug them in. They lose power. Most are battery operated. Make sure they have fresh batteries, and make sure the iPads, the iPhones, the smartphones in general, you know, Android, Apple, whatever they are, whatever you get WTOC alerts on, make sure that those are charged and that your audible alerts are turned on. So I just kind of ran through that as far as winds are concerned, and you can watch this feedback. You know, it's just difficult, unfortunately. You're very welcome, Patty. You're very welcome, T. Thank you for watching. Folks wanting to know, Donna Burke, about Blackshear. You know, it's hard on these feeds because people join at all the different times, and it's hard to go back and repeat without someone missing something. So I just want you to know this is still the idea, the general for everybody. This is easier to leave up and to just absorb and to soak in. Sustained 25 to 35, gusts 40 to 60. Still tropical storm force winds. There is still a low tornado risk tonight and to tomorrow, and the trend is going to be wettest north and west and driest south and east, so much so that Glenn and McIntosh counties may not get that much rain. Here is future radar. That's the colors you see right here at midnight. Notice those outer rain bands really starting to push in, and the little icons here indicating forecast models depiction of how much rain will accumulate. And I'm going to go ahead and run through. Notice how the rain is mostly north and west, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, really the majority of it. There could certainly be a few heavy rain bands along I-95, but here are rainfall totals. They have sped up the system even more. So this is not a big rain event. It just simply is not. In fact, yesterday's rain may be more than what we end up getting from this system coming up tonight and tomorrow. We're talking maybe 2 to 4 inches here, Screven County, Swainsboro. This model is a little bit drier, but we're talking less than an inch. Wayne County, Pierce-Brantley counties, over into Glenn County, Shellman Bluff, Darien, and McIntosh County, coastal Liberty County, coastal Bryan County, coastal Chatham County, coastal Jasper County, coastal Beaufort County. The coast will likely see less than an inch of rain. It's just going to be really windy in the isolated storms that are there. While they may not dump all that much rain, they could produce isolated tornadoes. Let's see. Shelley says, how does this hurricane compare to previous hurricanes? It depends. You have to tell me which specific hurricane you're talking about. But in general, this is going to be a wind event, or that's going to be the biggest factor, I should say, out of all of this. Not that this is going to be a historic wind event for us. It's not. But it'll be our biggest factor here tonight into tomorrow. Let's see. I have not heard anything about curfews at the moment. Folks asking about that. You're welcome, Gina. I have not heard anything about curfews. You're welcome, Tabitha. But of course, if there is anything posted, we will be posting that to WTOC.com and in the WTOC News app. That's the latest on that. Again, any closure questions you have, any curfew questions you have, There aren't any curfews to my knowledge. You can find that at WTOC.com, website on your screen right now, WTOC.com on the homepage. All that information is there. As easy as you can watch this Facebook Live feed, and I can't necessarily answer all the questions here as far as closures and as far as any sort of curfews. All that information, though, is available at WTOC.com and our news app. Janet says, compared to Tropical Storm Hermine, how bad for the coast? It'll be similar. Tropical storm conditions. It ain't a good idea to compare systems. It just is. And, pardon the casual speech there, but it isn't. But I will tell you, tropical storm conditions. So enough to cause scattered tree damage, enough to cause scattered power outages that may last several hours, or at worst case, in more rural areas or areas that see more tree damage, maybe a couple days. That's what we need to plan for. So something like Hermine, but I don't necessarily like to draw parallels because everybody saw something different in Hermine. Everybody saw something different in Matthew and in Irma. So I just don't want to cause any confusion. So if you're wondering why I'm not bringing up that comparison, that's why. And I'm just trying to be reasonable and realize that we have a huge viewing area, 23 more counties or so, and certainly the impacts are different at any one spot. Tammy, yes, up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, maybe just a little bit stronger there to the north and west of the Savannah Metro. In fact, I'm going to pull up winds again. So I'm pulling it up now. If you want to know how bad winds are going to be in your community, in your county, now's the time to look at your device because we're going to go through now. By midnight, we're talking 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts, Swainsboro, Vidalia, Baxley, Alma, Waycross, Hazelhurst, and a little bit weaker, but still breezy to windy here. I-95 corridor, the Lowcountry, Beaufort, Bluffton, Hilton Head, Ridgeland. Gust 25 to 35 still at midnight. That's certainly reasonable. Maybe some twigs come down, but that's about it. Sarah wants to know when it will hit Savannah. We're going through that now, hour by hour, the winds. By 2 a.m., Savannah's gusting greater than 40 miles per hour. We are never hit by the core of the system as it looks right now. We're going to see 45 to 55, 60 or so mile per hour gusts. Swainsboro, Vidalia, Hazelhurst, Sylvania, maybe Medgar-Millen, maybe Portal, north and western portions of Bullitt County, northern portions of Tattnall County, north and western portions of Appling County, Coffee, Jeff Davis counties by 1:30, 2:30 in the morning. Going further into the morning, we're expanding some of the stronger winds further to the east. Hampton County, Ridgeland, now gusting 40 to 50. And gusting greater than 50 in Swainsboro, Statesboro, Sylvania by 5 a.m. So the early risers, if you're up at that time, it'll definitely be gusty by that point. Betty wants to know what the weather will be like in Brunswick on Friday. It'll be breezy, it'll be sunny, it'll be cooler, and it will be drier. Gorgeous weather across the entire area Friday. But Thursday, tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., Waycross, Nahunta, Brunswick, Showman Bluff, right now it looks like you never really get in on the intense winds. It's just windy, maybe some isolated power outages, but a little bit less likely to see those outages. As we go towards 7 a.m., notice the yellows, the lighter winds begin to arrive here south of the Altamaha River, Alma, Waycross, Nahunta, Brunswick. And we see the lighter conditions, the improving weather expand north and east up the coast. So that by 10 a.m., we're improving along and south of I-16. Maybe have to extend the gusty conditions to about noon, 1 o'clock as far as the real gusty winds. And the last to clear out and to calm down, Sylvania, Hampton over to Beaufort County, northern Jasper County, Ridgeland, Hilton Head, Bluffton still gusting 30 to 40 at 10. Meanwhile, portions of the Altamaha River region, Waycross, Nahunta, Brunswick gusting 20, 25, certainly lighter winds by that point. Noon. Still gusty low country, but even north of 278 in Beaufort County, northern Jasper County, Hampton County still gusting 30 to 40 up in here, but lighter winds off to the south. And going forward even further in time, we will have a north and westerly breeze, and it'll be breezy, but this is going to bring in some cooler, drier, sunnier weather. And I'm going to go ahead and show the 7-day forecast for you now, letting you know that this is one and done. It's moving quickly, folks. We have some good news here. Improving weather. Adrienne says, we'll talk about the flooding. There is no significant flooding risk. Some areas will not even see that much rain. It'll be wet in north and west of Savannah, but some folks closer to the coast may not get in on that much rain. Christopher wants to know what the probability of tornadoes is. A slight risk of severe weather. We could see a few tornadoes across the area tonight into tomorrow. Jessica says, I live in Baxley and will be evacuating my mobile home before the curfew tonight. That is certainly a good idea. Mobile homes, especially with the risk of tornadoes and tropical storm force winds, maybe relocate but not necessarily evacuate. Again, if you can just go to a loved one's house, a friend's house, a neighbor's house, maybe your neighbor's house, property next door, if they have a single-family home on a foundation, just stay the night into tomorrow. Let it improve, and then you can head on back home. Eva wants to know, want to know more about mobile homes. She'll be evacuated. I can't make that decision for you, but what I can tell you, and we've kind of kept this lingo, anyone that's asked it on TV, we've said this, isolated tornadoes, you do not want to be in a mobile home. Tropical storm force winds, mobile home's not the safest place to be. So if you can, I don't say you have to leave your community outright, but your neighbor, your friend, your loved one in town, maybe across town, just hit them up, say, hey, can I spend the night tonight? The weather's going to be a little rough. It's just that kind of a thing, and you'll be safer to do that. Jess, you're welcome. Thank you for watching. Desiree, no significant storm surge in Brunswick. Coastal flooding is our least impactful impact from major hurricane Michael. Tides running a little bit above normal. We didn't even have much water over Highway 80. Tides will continue to come down slowly as we leave our king tide, our astronomical high tide. Thankfully, we're heading out of that as winds on shore increase, but this is not going to be a significant coastal flooding event. You're welcome, Sharifa. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Betty, thank you for watching. Rihanna wanting to know about Gulfstream. Again, many businesses probably making decisions today for tomorrow. And Jessica wants to know about Southeast Bryan County. Gusts 40 to 50 likely. Maybe a few gusts stronger than 50 miles per hour. Not a huge rain event, but yeah, there's going to be some rain around. And we're watching for the possibility of isolated tornadoes. This is mainly for, the first half or so of Thursday. Improving conditions Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. By sunset, dinner time or so, we're probably going to have sunshine and lighter winds. It'll still be breezy to windy, but it's nothing to write home about by tomorrow late afternoon into the evening. Friday is gorgeous. Saturday, reminder, my Susan G. Komen Bigwig campaign still ongoing. I'll be up in Statesboro with the WTOC Storm Chaser at Sugar Magnolia Bakery and Cafe. Again, that is Saturday morning up in Statesboro. Would love to see you. You can ask me any questions about hurricane season. You can tell me your stories, or if you don't have any stories, that's awesome too, about Hurricane Michael on Saturday in Statesboro, Sugar Magnolia Bakery and Cafe. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we start to warm back up, but hey, another cold front comes through, rain chances increase, and we're going to cool back down again. Yes, that says 59 on Saturday morning. It's going to be very, very nice. Michael's helping shift around the weather pattern across the United States and finally allowing a significant cold front to push through. So on that note, for those just joining, let's take it back to an update on the tropics. Going to bring you back up to my tropical weather graphics here, and we are looking at the map right now. This is nearing landfall. It's a Category 4. Here's an update though. 150 mile per hour sustained winds now. Remember, planes are almost constantly flying through this. We not only have our normal advisories, but also our intermediate advisories, and we are almost constantly getting updates here. So we now have a borderline, it's 7 miles per hour away from being a Cat 5. So an extremely strong Category 4. That north and eastward turn has taken place. Again, now beginning to move north and east into the state of Georgia. And the outer rain bands beginning to impact the state as well, southwestern portions of the state to the west of I-75. This will spread further to the east. And hey, if you want to see where the weather is really dangerous, where it is worst right now, we have a live look for you right now. Apalachicola, Florida, and conditions continue to go downhill in that region. Again, that's kind of in the coastal bend of Florida, Apalachicola area. And we did have a live shot earlier. We may have lost that shot. Again, it's kind of touch and go with communications there. Conditions going downhill in the Florida Panhandle. But if you want to see those kinds of images, all you have to do is Google a lot of live crews down there. Some of our sister stations out of Alabama are down there as well. So here's the latest: 150 mile per hour sustained winds. Moving to the northeast as we go to the track now at 14 miles per hour, north-northeast. Forecast to be a Category 2 in extreme southwest Georgia. This is this evening, 8 p.m. Thursday morning, 8 a.m., it is to our north and moving away from the coastal empire in the low country, and impacts will lessen second half of the day Thursday. So I really hope that this conversation has helped you. If it hasn't, if you still have any other questions, I'd love to answer those for you. Again, it's my job. That's what I'm here to do. That's what everyone in the WTOC staff, First Alert Weather team, and just First Alert News team is here to do for you. So you can always find the latest, not only here, WTOC.com, in the news app, the weather app. You can stream our normal newscasts and any breaking weather coverage there in the apps, whether it's evening, noon, night, as we go into the late night hours. Of course, you can get that information there. And Chief Meteorologist Dave Turley, myself, Andrew Gorton, all here. We're going to be breaking down different aspects of the forecast for you, trying to simplify it for you here. Coming up, the news at noon, which you again can watch in the WTOC news and weather apps. If you still have questions, you can't watch the newscast, hit me up on Facebook, WTOC Cutter Martin, or at Cutter Martin on Twitter. And of course, I will be answering any questions that you may have. Go out, have yourself a great afternoon. Just remember, tornado risk, isolated tornadoes, that risk will be increasing as we get into the evening and the overnight hours.